In this video, I'm going to be building the best possible limited team for Season 3, Week 3 in NBA 2K23. My team, as you guys can see on the screen, these are going to be the game requirements. Your lineup must be an 80 overall or lower. So that means, your squad definitely can't be too good, but I do like the requirements. I really don't like the requirements when you can only use one amethyst and a couple rubies. I do like these new requirements. So if you want to do something with your limited team like this, I think you could try something out like this, where if you want to go with a guy like Tim Thomas, or maybe you have a really good pink diamond, for example, you want to use a guy like Russ. Obviously, you can't have Russ and Tim Thomas in the same lineup. That would be pretty much impossible to get them both on the same team. But if you want to go for a guy like Tim Thomas and then have the rest of the cards just be pretty decent, right? Like you'd have Curry at point guard who can shoot threes and still be somewhat good on the offensive end. You got Jaylen Brown, who's a really good Ruby. Daniel Marshall's really tough. And then you got Wendell at the center position as well. So if you want to do something like this, you would even have to lower the team overall a little bit more. Maybe a guy like Anthony Davis gets us down to an 80, and he doesn't get us down to an 80. So you might have to, lower a guy like Jaylen Brown and go for like a sapphire shooting guard. So if you want to go for a guy like Tim Thomas, you're definitely gonna have to sacrifice a lot of pieces, and you're basically just gonna have shooters around Tim Thomas. But that's definitely not a bad idea. I wouldn't say it's the best possible team you can build, but definitely not a bad idea if you just want to use one top tier card and then have the rest be really good budget options. Now, talking about the lineup that I would probably run, I would go with more of a well-balanced squad. For example, at the small forward spot, a guy like Kuminga could be really solid, and this team's now going to be a 78 overall. So now we can bump up the rating, maybe go ahead and get ourselves a Michael Cooper at that shooting guard spot. I think this team just being a little bit more well-rounded, you got two really good amethyst cards, Kuminga and Cooper. You could also maybe upgrade the small forward to a guy like Thurl Bailey or Rudy Gay. So what you could do, for example, if you want to go with Rudy Gay, you can have him at the small forward spot and then downgrade the Michael Cooper to a Jaylen Brown. There's a bunch of different scenarios and a bunch of different ways you guys could do this, but I think a lineup like this could definitely be very solid. And then maybe we can bump up Anthony Davis to maybe a guy like Wendell Carter Jr., right? That's going to be a 79 overall squad. So maybe can we even bump it up a little bit more to a guy like Robert Williams or to a guy like Mo Bamba? We can. Okay, so something like this I think would be a lot better than just having Tim Thomas. We got one really good card, obviously going to be Rudy Gay, and then we have Mo Bamba as well, who's going to be a very solid center. So something like this I think could be the best possible team. It's going to be pretty much impossible to get this team to have a bench unless you want to run. If you wanted to run a bench, you would basically just have to have your whole team being sapphires and below, and I don't think that's the best scenario and the best thing you guys can do. So if you want to run a guy like Garland, right, I guess you could throw them at the end of their bench, and that's still going to be an 80 overall. I just quickly want to see, what's the lowest tier you can have with this squad being an 80. So yeah, if you go to a Ruby, then it brings the rating up to an 81. So maybe you could go like this, right? If you want to go John Morant over Curry, because Curry might be a little bit of liability in the defensive end, and maybe you want to go for more of a rim runner. Also, if you guys want to get the lowest overall golds, what you guys want to do is come over to your search engine and you want to put the card color to gold, and then you want to put the team to some random squad, for example like the Kings, right? And then you guys can see a 69 overall Kings player. If you were to just do this, right, like if you were just to search for gold cards and put these 79 overalls in your lineup, look how much the rating's going to jump, right? We're already up to an 82 after putting 3 gold. So that's definitely going to help lower the rating overall. Is what you guys want to do. Like I said, put the card color to gold and then just pick a random team and go to their lowest tier gold card, and you guys can see now we're down to an 81. I think this is a tip that not that many people know about. It's definitely going to help you guys with an 80 overall rated team, because obviously that's going to be very low and you need to save as many of these overall points as possible. So you guys can do this and you'll be able to get some of the lowest overall golds in the game. So guys, I think a lineup like this is probably the best lineup you're gonna be able to build. If you guys want to build a full squad, you're just gonna have to use a full team of sapphires and below maybe a full team of rubies, which I'm not really the biggest fan of. I'd rather just have a 5-man lineup, go out, run with this, and if my opponent doesn't quit in the second or third quarter, then I would just probably end up leaving the game. Or you can run with the whole team. Maybe you could have like one guy off the bench. Maybe can we have a guy like Curry? I don't think so, right? So can we get maybe an emerald point guard, somebody that's decent, like maybe a Cole Anthony? See, that bumps up the overall to an 82. So I think you guys are honestly just gonna have to settle with this type of lineup. I do wish the overall was maybe a little bit higher, maybe an 82, 83. I think that would just make the lineups a little bit better to run in limited. But let me know in the comment section down below, what limited team are you guys running? In my opinion, this is going to be the best possible team you guys can use. Can we also maybe upgrade this to a 95 overall? I just want to see, right? We can't. Okay, yeah, so the highest overall we can do here is going to be the 94 overall Rudy Gay. If you want to go for a guy like Thurl Bailey, he's obviously going to be a really good option. That's weird how Rudy Gay makes it an 80 overall, but Thurl Bailey makes it a 91. even though they're the same rating. So that's a little bit interesting. But yeah, I think a lineup like this is probably going to be the best lineup you can run. If you also want to try to include Michael Cooper, because he's an amazing shooting guard, you can maybe lower your point guard or lower your center, right? If you want to maybe lower your center back to a Wendell, right, you can maybe get a guy like Michael Cooper in the lineup, but still that's going to be an 82 overall. So a bunch of different ways you guys can go with. But like I said, I think the best possible lineup would be if we add Mo Bamba back in the squad, and then we go Michael Cooper all the way down to Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown, this Ruby card, still going to be very, very solid, and that's going to be an 80 overall lineup. But let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys think about the limited requirements? What team are you guys going to be running? And maybe any suggestions for my team as well. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.